He really knows how to burn them.
Greater Manchester, the Liverpool City region and Lancashire are being set up as the canaries in the coal mine.
It'll end in tears.
In recent months, we have worked with local leaders to counter local spikes with targeted restrictions.
And Nigel Farage, Kent. These are the interesting times. Hello everybody, my name's Matt Johnson and welcome to The Interesting Times, a show that likes to take a sideways swipe at politics right here in the UK. Now, coronavirus has risen across the country. When I say country, of course, I mean countries. Scotland, Wales, England and Northern Ireland, all countries are seeing a rise in cases. England has introduced a three-tier system. Scotland may introduce a three-tier system. Northern Ireland has introduced 4-week restrictions and Wales has restrictions and is likely to be introducing a circuit-breaking lockdown in the next few weeks. England, as of Monday, has a three-tier system, medium, high and very high. At the moment, a lot of the country is high, which would explain giving this guy an 80-seat majority. Manchester's fighting a lockdown.
It is wrong to place some of the poorest parts of England in a punishing lockdown.
London's encouraging it.
Nobody wants to see more restrictions, but this is deemed to be necessary in order to protect Londoners by myself, London Council leaders and by ministers.
And Liverpool, well, Liverpool just wants to remind people it won the Premier League this year. Well, let's break it down. If you live in Glasgow, you can't go to the pubs or other people's houses. You can meet people outside, but only if there's no more than 6 of you, or unless you're from more than 2 households. You can count yourself as one household if you have a child together, and the child doesn't count as part of the 6 if they're under 12. If you're not in Greater Glasgow or Clyde, Lanarkshire, Ayrshire, Arran, Lothian or Forth Valley, then you can go to a cafe or a bar, but you can't get a beer. And you have to be finished before the sun goes down. If you're in Leeds or London, you can't meet anyone in a pub outside of your household, but all the pubs and cafes are still open until 10 p.m. when everybody goes outside to mingle and cough on each other. And if you're in Devon, Cornwall or Norwich or any other tier 1 area, you can pretty much go about your business, but you aren't allowed to socialise in more than 6, even as part of an extended family. Although, if you haven't been to Cornwall or Norwich, you'll know that extended families isn't really too much of an issue. And Liverpool is still... Look, it's been 30 years for them, so you can see... Actually, all right, that's a bit unfair. Both Liverpool and Manchester are going on tougher lockdowns, and Manchester's mayor is not happy about it. Here's Andy Burnham.
You know, this isn't just a game, people playing politics. This is real. The North stands on the brink of being back into where we were in the 1980s, just, you know, forgotten and pushed aside. But we won't let that happen, and that's why we're taking this stand.
Back to the 80s. Pretty sure that's not really something you want to threaten the Tories with. And speaking of threats and Tories, Boris took time out from his busy day of not seeing things through properly to make an announcement, which went something like this.
Good morning.
I think we should have a talk.
We left the European Union on January the 31st.
There comes a time when it becomes clear that things aren't working.
Obeying EU law, paying our fees as a non-voting member. Working on the future relationship we hope to enjoy with our friends and partners from January.
That maybe we should just make a clean break.
I've concluded that we should get ready for January the 1st with arrangements that are more like Australia's.
But please know that it's not me, it's you.
And from the outset, we were totally clear that we wanted nothing more complicated than a Canada-style relationship based on friendship and free trade.
It's you.
Given that this summit appears explicitly to rule out a Canada-style deal.
Yes, really.
And given that they have refused to negotiate seriously for much of the last few months, and
all of you,
to judge by the latest EU summit in Brussels, that won't work for our EU partners.
It's you.
But for whatever reason, it's clear from the summit that after 45 years of membership, they are not willing, unless there's some fundamental change of approach, to offer this country the same terms as Canada.
All of you. I mean, I've been brilliant from day one, but well, anyway, I'm good.
Because we always knew that there would be change on January the 1st, whatever type of relationship we had.
Really good.
And so now is the time for our businesses to get ready and for our hauliers to get ready, for travellers to get ready.
In fact, you know what? Don't you worry about me. I'm going to be fine.
And so with high hearts and with complete confidence, we will prepare to embrace the alternative and...
Yep, better than fine. I'm going to be amazing.
And we can do it.
Because you know what? There's a whole world out there just waiting for me.
We will prosper mightily as an independent, free trading nation.
So, the UK appears to have signed up to an Australia-style deal. Yes, duty-free Tim Tams, here we come. And like the grinning serial killer he is, Boris's response was entirely predictable.
Well, as far as I can see, they've abandoned the idea of a free trade deal. There doesn't seem to be any progress coming from Brussels. So what we're saying to them is only, come here, come to us if there's some fundamental change of approach. Unless there's a fundamental change of approach, we're going to go for the Australia solution.
And the EU's response?
From our chief negotiator, Michel Barnier. And I think he emphasised the need for mutual respect in these negotiations. And I think he was given the necessary flexibility to continue with the negotiations on behalf of the European Council.
Yeah. See you Monday. And speaking of all things Brexit, there's been a push to officially name the lorry park in Kent Farage's garages after Toad of Turd Hall. But then somebody spotted that they were building portaloos there and realised they could go one step further. God bless the British sense of humour. So of course we have the Jacob Rees Bog, Moggy's Bog, the Brexiters, Dumping It, Cummings, Brandon Lewis. And when you're done, be sure to wipe your bottom. You don't want to end up with any skid mark, Francois. And if you're going to a lot more frequently, you might need to see a doctor, as you may have irritable Duncan Smith syndrome, IDSS, instead of IBS. Boris had an affair with Jenny Arcuri. Or did he? Did he? Yeah, he did.
And what happened when you called him?
Well, let me clarify. The first time I called him, okay, he answered, then the phone was taken and somebody was...
Is this his mobile phone, his cell phone?
Yeah, and what I've been calling for the last almost 10 years, right?
So he still has his old mobile phone?
On his personal number?
And you called him and he did what?
And the phone was taken by a man who was pretending to speak in a Chinese accent. What you want? Who are you talking to?
Oh my God, Prince Philip is answering the PM's phone now.
You know, it's just one of these things that has blown up so catastrophically in my face.
But please, please, we don't need details.
And when it did come out...
Come on, Jennifer. Spit it out.
Okay, I could go down the route of snigger snigger double entendre. However, those in the know get that this is gutter press titillation. Jenny Arcuri was, and I've no doubt is, a hard-working entrepreneurial woman who built her business up through hard work, street smarts, and just plain being one of the best in her tech field.
So I would like to clarify 2 points about my trade missions and my events, yeah? My events were exponentially better. They were very good events. So much so, Boris loved them. They were just as much about celebrating London as they were my little student, you know. And because he loved being a part of them, he had no problem coming. And there was absolutely no conflict of interest because it was just about celebrating London and building
And what's
London.
the other point you want to make?
The other point is those trade missions. In that documentary, it happened to show an extract of one email. And the assumption of the way it was edited and narrated assumed that I had to get permission to go to New York to get on that trade mission. Wasn't true. I was already there.
Exactly. But because she's blonde with a voluptuous figure and has no problem displaying it, the papers decided to go with a different angle. The crude, obvious one. Boris and blonde bimbo with big tits. And then simply left out anything that didn't fit into that narrative.
The British press have a tendency of quoting you even when you don't give them quotes. And they also have a tendency of making up wondrous stories. You know, for example, I lost my laptop. Never happened. I charged £1,000 a head to my baby shower. Never happened. Had men's suitors there. Never happened.
So you feel that by speaking in a live broadcast interview,
yes, I need to show the British public that I am not the blonde bimbo ex-model that they think I am. I did not run away with their taxpayer dollars. There was absolutely no favoritism. My relationship or non-relationship with Boris Johnson has absolutely nothing to do with every single credential I've done in London.
The problem is that by doing the interviews and the documentaries, it is allowing the press another chance to dig their claws in and, well, as you put it...
The British media pulled me back. I mean, I had let that chapter go a few years ago, you know, and I didn't expect to be dragged back in the middle of a massive scandal the way it had.
So why do it? Why not just admit the affair? I mean, this clip was from November last year. The papers are pushing this stuff now. Well, as for admitting the affair, aside from the obvious of who would want to admit to having sex with that, because let's be honest, that's practically bestiality, allow me to come up with one possible explanation. Imagine you are a CEO of a tech firm, you're doing regular launches and presentations, and then suddenly...
My life is still being written about. I'm still being quoted. I'm still having, you know, rumors being spread about me. When does it end?
And now... you're the woman that only got where you are through shagging Boris, rather than a smart and confident woman paying her own way. I'm pretty sure you speak up too. And Boris gets the media in this country.
You know, one time I asked him, how do you handle the press? And he said, impeccably well.
That is it in a nutshell. He blusters and delivers the headline. And the press lap it up. Take a look at these headlines. And it's unfortunately clear from her newspaper interviews and television appearances and questionable photo ops that Jenny Arcuri doesn't. But surely there is some connection that Jenny can tap into, some way that the British public can appreciate what she's going through.
Is there any relevance, do you think, about the way he treated you and has behaved with you to his fitness to be Prime Minister of his country?
Oh, that is a daring question, Mr. Piers. I'm actually... I can't speak to what he's doing now. I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense to me.
Oh, we feel your pain. Well, that's it for another week. Thank you so much for watching. If you're enjoying these vids, please do subscribe and hit the notifications bell to make sure you don't miss another. And I'll see you all next Monday. Take care.